Don't worry about it.
It is what it is. It's a curtain.
It's a curtain. And today, guys, we're going to let you behind the curtain. All right. Ready?
Am I living? Oh, what a funny thing to say.
It's super comfy.
Comfy?
Very.
Different.
Love it.
See? We can work anyway, can't we?
Put us in a vineyard. Put us on a beach.
Vineyard. That's nice. Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Living with Nancy Timpano.
And Vince Fusco. You are here, guys, on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you are streaming us this morning. It's a beautiful Monday morning, although it's a Monday morning if you're listening. It's a Friday today because we're recording on a Friday. Hey, just very quickly, can we just take a second and talk about how tremendous last week was at Commune 1?
Absolutely it was, and we didn't do a horrendous last week when we recorded there, but that's okay because we are just going to go on about it now because it was just tremendous.
On every level, like between Emma, Jace, Ivan, Rob, Luca, Orazio, the whole team down there, thank you again for having us. We just had the best time meeting their patrons, bringing some new people to Commune 1 and getting to share that experience. And maybe it's just the wog in us, but there's something about sharing food, a coffee and a conversation with people. It's probably one of my favourite things.
I don't know. And I think what we loved about it was we all our kind of people, all good humans. Good humans. We felt like part of the family and we still do. We've finished. We're out of there. And yet we're still messaging each other, checking in.
I can't wait to go for dinner.
I know. We're going to have a pizza night there.
Friday nights.
Yep.
Head down.
All right.
Oh, so that was, look, on every level, tremendous. For sure.
Winning.
For sure. All right, that's enough applause. How about horrendous? Have you had anything horrendous this week?
This week, horrendous. Have I told you anything and not realised until later?
No, that's why I'm asking, because I feel like we've spoken quite a bit this week and we haven't had any...
Horrendous? No, I don't know, no.
Not that you should have something horrendous every single week as well. Like, let's be clear, you don't have to have something horrendous.
No, I don't think I have.
I think that's great though because...
That's really good.
Well, you had like a run, remember? Like when we first started Horrendous Tremendous, you had a run of like 3 or 4 weeks of horrendous.
Yeah, no, it's been tremendous. I've actually had the opportunity to work with the Wakakiri Story Dance Festival, which has been fantastic and it's still going for the next couple of weeks. So I'm super pumped, loving being amongst it. And you know how we spoke about in one of our very, very first episodes about young Nancys and Vinces?
Yes.
Oh my God, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Being on stage and they're like, chuckers. And
chuckers, break a leg.
Oh my
God, all those things.
No, oh, it's so beautiful. I love being a part of it. So nothing shy of tremendous.
Fantastic.
Love it.
I've got some tremendous news that I'm going to be sharing in a couple of weeks, which I can't. I know. And it's funny.
You can't do that.
And I've done that for the last. It's funny. Listening back to a couple of episodes ago, I sort of made that comment. I'm like, oh well, we could. No, we can't talk about it. And I still can't talk about it. And I'm really just under this embargo until somewhat like mid-September. But there's so many tremendous things I can't wait to share with you, Nance.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited.
And it's not just about us and what we're doing. It's an extension of that as well, which is really, really exciting. So there's a lot of tremendous things coming up, guys.
Lots.
Hey, today I've got a bee in my bonnet.
Ooh.
And I know that sounds like, God, all he does is complain, this bloke. But there's just something that's been nagging me a little bit this week. And I'm going to go after the big guys here.
Ooh.
Coles and Woolworths.
Ooh.
Tell me if I'm out of line, right?
All right, let's talk.
Let's just jump into this, right? So they've got these promotions. You might remember a year or so ago, they did like a Harry Potter promotion. I think it was Coles, where you could spend $30 and get a character, like a little cardboard character where you pop all the things out and you make the bloody thing and it's trash. They were collectors.
Yep.
Joy is a Harry Potter head, so she went bananas and bought the castle, the train, all the bloody characters, got into a trade group on Facebook. It was just bananas, right? They've now got a new one. I think Coles have a new one, which is like Marvel superhero. Oh, no, like DC superheroes or something.
Yes.
And Woolies currently have a Disney promotion with 100 cards or something that you can collect. And the thing that I'm really like perturbed by is spend $30 to get one
Yeah.
of these things.
Yeah.
And I'm not even collecting. Let me be very clear.
Yeah.
I am not collecting these things.
Yeah, but I've been sucked in. I've had to remember was it the Ushies? What is that, Ushies?
Oh, okay. Well, just as bad.
Oh my!
Actually,
And I joined the Facebook group to get
You're
the
joking.
stuff. But
Well, okay.
Hey, me and Joy, I tell you,
You and Joy are connected on so many levels. You guys are too similar.
things we do for our kids.
For the kids.
No. Hello. Yes.
Hello.
Well, look, I'm not a Harry Potter person, but yes, it was definitely for Jaden.
Well, the
I was
Ushies, I
collecting.
think, we'll pin the Ushies because I feel like they were bad for the environment because they were like rubber or plastic.
That's
weren't
right.
they? And that's why I'm pretty sure they moved to like the recyclable
Correct.
paper little things. However, the gripe that I have with it is that you spend $30 to get one of these things. It's crap.
Yep.
With the cost of living.
Yep.
The cost of living these
Love
days,
that.
like that. With the cost of living, wouldn't families much prefer to spend $30 and get some sort of discount on their shopping bill?
Yeah, so for every 30 you get $1 off, even if it's $1.
Fuck, I'd take $2. I'd take $1, Nance. Whatever the cost of that stupid thing is. I just feel like
true.
these companies are multi-billion-dollar conglomerates, right, that are smashing the local supermarkets, that are smashing
the
local
small
businesses,
people,
the small guys,
small
and they
businesses.
encourage you to spend more in their store for
Yeah.
the reward of these little paper things. And I understand there is marketing budgets. I understand there is advertising and partnerships and promotions. I get that. But I feel like there is a much more in-touch approach in which, with the cost of everything.
Yeah, especially now, yep.
And the reason that I bring this up is because I went to the shop the other day to do a little sperza. A sperza is a shop, for those of you playing
I
along
love
at
how
home.
you throw in those little...
This is just how I talk at home. It's a real mix. It's a real broken Italian, broken English communication style.
Little
But
sperza.
a little sperza. Doing my sperza the other day at Coles, and I went through the self-checkout, not scan and go because I don't have my clacks yet. Talking about that.
Missing out.
Missing
I'll tell
out.
you something else about that. I'll tell you feedback.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, keep going.
Well, I did the sperza at the self-checkout, and then I turned around and I said to the lady, do I get one of those things? And she goes, how many do you get? I said, I don't know, however many $55 gets me. And so she looked at it and she laughed and she went, one, put a cross on it and gave me one. And I was like, one for $55? And she was like, yeah, spend 30. So I was $5 off of getting another one.
Yeah.
And again, not that I'm collecting them, but evidently I am chasing them while I'm there. But it was the idea that I was like, so hang on, I'm $5 off just for that thing. Whereas if I could have got a discount of $5,
Yes.
that would have made me feel a little bit better.
Absolutely. Well, that makes sense. But also you've got those people, and I've experienced this before, that you go through and you're like, oh, I'm not spending that extra $5 today
100%.
to get the second one. But then you've got those beautiful people on the checkout
Yes.
that go, here you go,
Here's a handful.
and throw a handful in.
best.
But then it upsets me because then other times you can't even get one.
Yeah, totally.
And the hardest thing, and this is where we always get caught, is if you happen to take your child to the shops, what do you think they're going to be okay with the fact that we're not going to bump it up the extra $2 to get one?
Well, see, this brings me back to probably like a point around like the parenting and those boundaries where it's like, you don't want to disappoint the kids, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying, I'm not saying I do sometimes, but not all the time, because sometimes you think, oh my gosh, okay, for an extra $1, I'll just shush him up.
That's 10 minutes more of happiness and silence in the car.
I know, so it's a real catch-22, this one, I tell you.
Well, look, guys, I would love your feedback. Am I the only one that is put off by these promotions at the moment? And
I'm with you with the put
Are
off,
ya?
because as soon as I see it, and we've got the folders of the first few things that we started to collect, and then it's like he knows we are not collecting. So if we're going to the shops, he'll go, oh, Mum, can I get a Disney thing? And he goes, but we're not collecting. I'm like, well, but...
So why are we getting it?
So, yeah.
Bookmark.
And I say, look, if I reach that threshold and I get a free one, so be it.
It's yours.
I am not bumping it up.
Yeah. Nor am I actively going to try to spend $30. Although these days you buy a punnet of strawberries, a bottle of milk, and a piece of like a loaf of bread, and that's $32. So
I know.
that's the thing that gets me. I was like, the cost of living is already outrageous for so many families. Why are we?
But I love your
pushing
theory. Even if it was $1.
$1 off makes you feel good.
Spend 30, get $1. So if I'm at the checkout and I'm about to spend $29.50,
Yeah.
and there's a $1 chocolate, really, I will buy that $1 chocolate.
Get your chocolate for free.
Get my chocolate for free, and really, that's just one.
Oh, that
little,
feels good. Like
but
already,
doesn't that
yeah,
feel
100%.
good?
It feels different.
Yeah, you're onto something here.
Thanks, guys.
I like
All right.
it.
Well, listen, if you
like
are part of the Woolies or Coles conglomerate and you want to chat with us, hello@livingpodcast.com is the email, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Just quickly, going back to the Clacks thing.
Oh, yeah, please.
Happy to hear if Clacks wants to reach out again, because I had my niece who's just had a bubba.
Yeah.
And so she's wheeling around a pram for the first time. Bless. Hello, Brooke. We've got a beautiful little baby great niece for Auntie Nance, Sarah.
Great niece.
Great.
So great Auntie Nance.
I'm a great. Hello.
Oh my God.
This is like the sixth time I'm a great.
That's true.
auntie.
Actually, that's true.
We have a tribe. We come in numbers. So anyway, my niece Brooke, and you're all looking at me going, she's got a niece called Brooke. I don't believe her. Well,
Brooke married into the family, didn't she? Let's be honest here.
She did, but she is part of the family and we adore her. She was telling me the other day, she goes, oh, thank you so much because of your Clacks episode and your Scan and Go episode. She goes, what I do now is I will use the bottom of the pram and I will use Scan and Go.
See ya.
And see ya.
See ya.
And I was like, Brooke, and she goes, honestly, I just didn't get my head around it until I heard your episode.
Love that.
Bless.
Love that.
Scan and Go for the win. Although every time I promote it, I kind of cringe because I'm like, I have never, ever had to line up for Scan and Go. So I don't want to promote it too much because I don't want to wait.
As in, like, you don't want more people to get on board.
I don't want to be in the line of Scan and Go. This is my
You're
thing
funny.
here.
You're funny. It's funny, like, shopping's such a weird thing these days. Like, I realise that I only ever go to the supermarket for basically like a trash shop.
Yeah.
As in, like, I'll go for snacks. I'll go for, like, the lollies, the chockies, the chips, the things that we don't need in the house and the things that we actively do not put into our online order.
Yeah.
But, like, I remember going to the shops every week with Mum and I remember... So Mum used to buy, like, for the family of 7 and she'd get her checkbook out at the supermarket there, always with a check, my mum back then. And she would always, I remember her being like, like she'd write the check for $100 and get like $10 change and she'd be like close to $100, but she'd be feeding the family of 7 for a week.
I know.
Now, like I said, you go and you do these little shops and you're spending $60 on nothing or a bag of crap.
Yeah.
But it's the idea of like going to the supermarket was such a regular event. Now it's going to the car park and sitting there and ringing the number and being like, I'm here.
I know.
And then old mate Michael comes out with his trolley and loads up my boot. But I just find like shopping's a weird experience these days.
It is.
It's
And
really
during
changing.
COVID,
well, I think
was
that's the thing
always,
that changed it.
direct to boot, of course. But I've actually you've just reminded me, I've kind of not forgotten about it, but I've gone back to it because I've got Claxy and it doesn't take me too much time.
Got my clacks and I'm out.
That's right. So, I haven't gone back to the direct to boot, but that was a great thing.
Yeah, we
And
do
it
the
still
direct to
is,
boot and we haven't had delivery for a while. We really got to know our delivery guy during COVID. Actually, he came probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago. We got a delivery and he said to Joy came upstairs and she was like, the delivery driver just said, gee, I haven't been here in a while.
Oh, but
that's nice.
This would save your problem with the collectibles because they're not seeing it.
100%.
And if it's in the bag for free and whether you decide to give it or not give it, but then there's that thing that's just waste when you could have given me $2 off.
And that's exactly my point. That's exactly it. And it's funny because like when I roll into the office after because I'm 4-day weeks, right? So I'm not in on Fridays. That's why we record on Fridays. But what I do is I'll go in there and people in my office, bless them, they're so lovely.
They collect for you.
They fucking collect them for me. And I come in and there's like a pile on my desk. So this week I went home with Disney cards that people had left me. And the boys straight away were like, Dad, can we have it?
I know.
And I give them to him like, here's 4 each. Straight away Leo's like, I don't want this one. I don't want that one. I don't want them. Okay, well, give them to your brother. Yeah. But again, I'm like, this is just an argument starter that we don't need.
Nonna Vic, she always goes in for brownie points. She goes, Jayden, look what Nonna got in her bag. And I'm like, oh, God, here we go.
Hey, just quickly, what do you reckon the chances are of getting Nonna Vic on the show?
Probably high. Getting her off the show might be the problem.
I reckon we could do, and this is something that we should talk about probably off air, but if you're listening and you love the idea, we'd love to hear from you. I reckon we could get our parents on.
Yep. It's funny though, because it'll be interesting to see what they bring when they're on, because I think mum gives me all the content as herself, not thinking twice naturally. I think she'll try and turn it on a little bit.
See, I reckon the same thing, and I've talked about my mum before with her phone voice.
Yeah. Oh.
So I reckon we will get 100% phone voice. Yeah. I reckon my dad would probably freeze up. Like, he doesn't speak English very much. Like, he does.
Your dad and my mum, how funny. Hello, living.
That's all right.
That's all right. Very good.
Vinichetta.
Nancy.
What is this? You want me to speak into this?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
He would. I don't even know what to expect. It's so funny. We were talking about
keen.
it before. I'm keen.
I'm so keen.
I'm keen. Let's get. I was going to say Chubbs because that's my dad's nickname. Chubbs.
Okay.
So my dad.
Okay.
Let me tell you this story.
I was like,
Chubbs.
you can explain.
He again. He doesn't like. He speaks English. He has a thick Italian accent to the point where, like, even in high school, all my mates were just like, "We love your dad so
More
much."
than my mum's.
I reckon they're pretty much on par.
Really?
Yeah, my dad's got a thick accent.
Okay.
Thick. And because Italian is still his first language here, like, again,
Yeah.
it's funny how they've stayed in their community so much.
Yeah.
And even at home, it's just Italian.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
English to us or English to other people. But my dad, when he was a teenager, it would have been like, it must have been 11 or 12. Before he came to Australia, he was in Italy and he was playing in a field near their home and he found what he thought was like a pen or something. And it was actually a detonator from like a war. Yeah, and it blew up in his hand. So he actually like blew up his hand and lost like half his finger here, top of his thumb. And he sort of has like little stubby fingers on like one hand.
Oh my
And there's this photo
goodness.
that's, we've got it at home. I'll have to ask Mum to dig it out. We've got this photo from when he must have been 12 or 13 and it's him in a suit, black and white, such like an old chalky photo, right? And he's standing there with a cigarette in his hand and they did this so that they could show that they saved his fingers. So they put the cigarette there to show like he's still
Oh my goodness.
holding these things. Anywho, wind the clock forward. He comes to Australia. He's a tradie, like a labourer, plasterer, working with my mum's brothers back in the day, building all of Campbelltown forever, and chopped his fingers off a few times, like thumbs, and both of them are pretty stumpy.
I know a few Italian men that
I
it's
know,
weird.
like they've either got that long nail on their little finger to pick a
don't.
winner,
Don't even
or
or
they've got
clean
like,
their ear hole.
oh my god, or they've got a little stumpy thumb.
Yes.
It's so cute, right? Anywho, so one day when I was probably like 14, 15, I was watching Happy Gilmore. You familiar with Happy Gilmore?
Yes, yes.
Classic movie, right? My dad sits and watches it and pisses his pants laughing, thinks it's the funniest, to the point where even a couple of years later, I remember being home on a Saturday night and Dad came in being, "Hey, Vince, Happy Gilmore's on. Want to come watch?" And I was like, "Oh my God." Like, Dad doesn't watch a lot of TV. If it's not soccer or SBS, he's not watching it, you know? And so I was like, "Yeah, let's watch it." But there's the scene where Chubbs, the golf coach that he has, who has the hand that was bitten off by the crocodile,
Yeah.
he smacks it off and a truck drives over it and then he glues it all together and it's all spackaded. You know what I mean?
Broken.
It's all spacked. It's all broken. But because my dad loves this movie and because my dad's hand somewhat reflects the spacked hand, we started calling my dad Chubbs.
Oh
Chubbs.
I feel really bad because when you said Chubbs, I thought maybe you were just saying because maybe he's chubby, he's got a beer belly or something.
No, my dad's thinner than me. My dad's
That
fucking more
is
fit than
hilarious.
me.
Now I feel really bad.
No, don't feel bad. Don't Chubbs from Happy Gilmore. But it's funny. I started calling him that, and it really stuck. Like all my siblings call him that as well. So I was going to say, let's get Nonna Vic and Chubbs and Nonna Maff on.
Yeah.
And I reckon we could have a festa with them.
Oh my God, an absolute fact. Make him cook
Oh, okay, that's another.
for after the show.
Okay,
Hey,
listen, we're onto it here, guys. I reckon we could do it.
Onto it. Yeah,
I love
but
it.
I don't think you'd get the real Nonna Vic though. That's all.
Well, look,
She would probably because I've told you my mum's telephone voice is very different to your mum's. Your mum's is prim and proper.
Your mum's
My mum's
like
is
she's
dying.
Yeah, correct.
Sorry,
correct.
Mum, but it's the truth.
And you know what's funny? I was just going to say when you said I don't think we get the real Nonna Vic. Do you reckon that any? Oh, look, I was going to say, do you reckon any old wogs or chocks out there? Do you reckon they really show the real them when they're out in public, or is like what's happening behind closed doors at home is a little bit different? I reckon.
Oh, but that's all of us,
That is all of us,
don't you think?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Because we show up some days when we don't feel like it, but we show up, right?
Definitely.
So
I don't know. I just feel like they talk at a normal volume when they're out of the house, but when they're in the house, I heard my neighbours screaming yesterday.
oh my gosh,
No, I've got to talk about this. We got new neighbours about.
they wouldn't be listening. Would they be listening?
No, I don't think so.
They don't like you.
No, we've said hello. I don't want to say what nationality they are, but they're. I don't think they speak English. It's definitely not their first language. But yesterday, they were
They
screaming.
spoke English.
No.
Oh, okay.
I wish.
But
I
you've
could
learnt another
understand.
language.
I'm trying to.
Okay.
I'm on Duolingo this afternoon, trying to get my 5 minutes a day to get my my language, second language up. They were screaming, like it sounded like murder, to the point where even Joya was like, "Should we go over there?" And I was like, "No." But actually, I said
Let's
to Joya,
get closer to the fence.
"Let's get closer." I said, "Let's stick our heads out." But I said to her, this is what it was like some days just growing up in an Italian household.
Yeah.
Like that volume. And I said, it's actually strange, the feeling that it brought me. It immediately sort of, it was like a little panic, a little anxiety.
Yeah.
But then a weird comfort.
Like I've heard this before.
Is that strange?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, Jaden came home from school this week and they were learning at school, school in the olden days. And he came home.
Let's start smacking with a ruler again.
And
No.
So they had like a teacher come in and dress up like they were in the olden days, and she had the like the little square case as the school bag, and she was just going through and showing the kids all the things from the olden days, like the dial telephone. What else was there in that picture?
Chalkboards?
Yes, chalkboards. There were so many things, but there was like a wooden spoon. And he would say, Mum, did you get smacked? And I thought he was talking about at home.
And you were like, yeah.
Right. And he goes, did you get smacked when you were naughty, when you were little? And I was like, oh, all the time. And, you know.
He was thinking at school then.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, my gosh. And I said, what are you talking about? And, you know, and then he explained. And then he goes, at school. I said, oh, no, at school. And then I would explain what would happen at school. And I won't name names, but we had one teacher. So I came from Murray Bridge and I moved in, you know, we moved to Adelaide in 85 and I was in year 5 and very different country. I don't remember anything like this, but I came to the big smoke of Adelaide, huge smoke compared to MB. And anyway, so I was naughty just for chatting and I got...
Chatting? I don't believe it.
So anyway, there was 2 things that really still are embedded in my mind. Me and my friend who I met on day 1 of school, and we're still friends all these years later, Jeanette, we were told off for chatting. And so he said, male teacher, he said, Jeanette, take your friend outside and tell her what we need to do. Right? And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
So Jeanette, a little button-nosed Jeanette, gorgeous little thing, she's gone, okay, we need to stand up and put our nose against the wall of the classroom, the outside of the classroom, and not move. Now, for Jeanette, that proved difficult. For me, I had plenty of space because when
you were 3 feet back.
I was like, I could see everything.
But why did you have to put your nose on the wall?
It was just to keep still. And if you, it's very, like, you should try this, right? If you try and put your nose against something, right, and then speak, it kind of wobbles and it comes away from the nose. But he would check
like
that
this?
It's not allowed to move. He would like come
my nose or my whole body?
Like your whole body. Okay. So if you're talking, you're moving. So if you're trying to, are you right there?
Yeah,
You just got snot on my table there. So that's what we would have to do.
Wow.
And that was just, I don't know what it was, but anyway, I learnt that very quickly. I didn't love that punishment.
So like I was at school after that.
Way after.
Not way after, just like 2 or 3 decades. But it was way after that.
Truth hurts?
No, that wasn't that long. It was just joking. But it was post smackable times, obviously. But we had some teachers who were of the same vintage.
Yes.
Who obviously, I think, missed the archaic way of disciplining children.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, it was my year 4 teacher. I won't name names. But she was scary. Everybody knew. You were like, if you were in her class, there was no mucking around.
Yeah.
And look, it has good and bad things of
I know,
it.
I know. Yes,
I do
agree.
think of it fondly, and I'm like, you know what? She's the one who probably got me into a lot of focus, a lot of good routine and regiment. However, the way she did it was pretty full on. So she was one who would still come around and smack like the meter ruler on the desk to get. Oh my god! I have PTSD from it.
Yeah, yeah.
She would do that. She would throw erasers at us, like if you had an eraser or like to get her attention, like the dustboard eraser as well as little rubber ones, she would like pelt them.
Yep.
And you'd be like, boom.
Okay. So the other thing that I was going to say is this same teacher that made me do this didn't help, didn't flatten it. Probably made it great. What he would do is we would have desk inspections. Now, I don't know what your desks were like, but at this time, we had, I think it was a plastic desk or even, and wooden as well.
One?
No, wooden, and then...
Did you have the little, like...
and then it had a lid.
Yeah. So we had those early days, but then we got upgraded probably around like year 2, year 3, I reckon.
Yeah. So we would have desk inspections to make sure inside the desk your books and pencils were kept neat and tidy.
Really?
Yeah. So we would open the lids, and if your desk was messy inside, he would pick up the desk and throw it out of the window.
What?
100%.
I can't.
100%.
I can't believe that he would throw it out the window.
And we had this portable classroom. I'll never forget it. He would pick it up and throw it. So that's my memory. Maybe he just picked it up and dropped it out the window. No, but he'd drop it out the window. And for me, it was like,
that's full on.
God. And I think we all had that happen once only because no one was silly enough to do that and repeat.
No, you wouldn't.
But that's what I remember.
Yeah, 100%. Well, with this same teacher, much like that.
Yes.
If you were leaning on it like this, like swinging on the chair, which I'm not going to do because these chairs are super comfy, PS.
Oh, okay.
No,
Thanks.
really, really good. Cheers. Cool. If you were leaning on the chair, I'll never forget, she walked around and she'd kick the chair out from under you. So you'd fall. And then she'd be like, that's what would happen if you keep rocking on your chair.
Oh, my God.
I swear to God. That's what I remember.
Wow.
So these teachers, like, I feel like they...
But I don't know. Like, I don't hate them for it. Now,
how would you feel if one of Jaden's teachers did that?
Oh, now I know. But what I'm saying is I've got that memory, but I don't know. Like, I'm not thinking I've got to look that school up and I'm not.
No, not at all.
Because that was normal for all schools.
So this is where I think the normalcy of different eras gone by and what was acceptable has changed dramatically, obviously.
Yeah. That's like even Matilda, the movie.
Yeah.
Jaden only recently watched that.
Okay, was this off my recommendation? And I told you that my boys
OD
on this
is
film.
100% because Jaden's not a movie watcher. I have to beg and plead. And yes, this was 100% after you
This is the new
recommended
one,
that
the
day.
musical.
Yes, the musical, yeah. He would watch it and he was, oh my gosh, between the parents and the principal.
Yes.
And I'm like, so that's my threat.
Okay.
Well, if you don't go clean up your room, do you prefer to have Matilda's parents? And he'd be like, oh, no.
I really love the way that it did, because, look, there are things that are probably a little problematic within it.
Yes.
And that's more so around just Roald Dahl's writing, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of Roald Dahl's books, the main characters have either like a superpower or an experience, but it's actually born from like a trauma of some sort.
Yeah.
In Matilda's case, it's her parents.
Yes.
And Trunchbull, right? So she's escaping into books. There's a lot of escapism. So that concept is a bit over my kid's head right now.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of teachers and friends of mine who I've said, look, go watch Matilda with the kids. It's a great movie. I love it. The kids love it. It does something to me, this movie. I don't know what it is, but I love it. And they were saying, it's probably not the best film for, because of that. But otherwise, pretty cool. My boys watched it for the first time and I remember like Leo just sort of fixated on the dad and he couldn't believe the behaviour that the parents were showing.
Yeah, I know.
And he was just like, they are awful. And for Leo to be like, her parents are awful. Or Miss Trunchbull's awful. Much like, I guess, like your threat. I don't have to threaten it, I suppose. But I was like, would you like Papa to ever be like that? And he was like, no.
And I got lots of love that day because I'm like, what do you prefer? Would you like those Matilda's parents or me for parents? So, yeah.
Well, either way.
Yeah, and in the background we're looking over and we're getting distracted, but that's only because I got my little Jaden home sick today.
Jaden.
And he's made a list of things to do to keep him occupied while he is not interrupting our recording, which he is right now. And yes, you may play one more game of FIFA. Thank you.
Is he playing as huge?
He's huge. Oh, I think he's in the team. He makes huge play and not be keeper sometimes.
Savage.
Because I make Dad run.
I love it.
FIFA. Yep.
Maybe I'm going to go home and play as huge today.
Yeah.
But I'll put him in the goal square because that's where he's best at.
Yes,
yeah,
he belongs. He belongs
absolutely. Nah, look. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, look. Teachers.
Yeah.
Coles and Woolworths were coming for you.
Yep.
We've got a few things today. We're going to organise a festa with our parents. Get them on the show.
Yes.
This has been a wonderful little chat today.
This has been like again a bit of a scramble, but not
a scramble. Is that like the next level of a fruit salad? Fruit salad's a bit of everything. Is a scramble a bit the same?
Yeah, scramble. Like scramble together, but this is why we have come together because we just like to chat.
About all things life.
All things. And this is why we are getting that beautiful feedback of being relatable because we'll just bring it to the table.
Just bring it to the table. I wish more people brought things to the table.
Yeah.
Because I just think it's easier.
More food and not take it home after.
Love that. Love that. My house, my lasagna. That's the best. I'm going to make a T-shirt.
Yes.
Hey, if we had T-shirts that said my house, my lasagna, would you wear it?
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
It's a bit like choose life, choose lasagna.
Yeah.
I reckon we should do that.
Oh, my
Guys,
goodness.
hey, We've got some special announcements coming up, but
Yes,
otherwise,
we have.
we're going to see you next week.
We sure will. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Livin'. And we might even do a little, if you're watching our socials this week, which is, what's Monday's date?
Monday's going to be the 14th.
Okay, yeah, we'll drop some news.
Monday the 14th. By the time you hear this episode, we'll have some new news for you as well, where you can catch up with us later this week.
See you then.
Am I living?
Scramble.
I like that.
You like it?
Yeah, scramble.
Scramble.
It sounds like breakfast, really.
Well,
Do you have any eggs?
I do. You want some?
Yeah, let's do it. This Friday, August 18th, Nancy and I are going to be on site recording a brand new episode of Livin' with our friends at 35 Stirling, and we'd love to see you there. So come on down to 35 Stirling Street, Theberton between 9:30 and 11:30 a.m. this Friday, August 18th, for a brand new episode of Livin'.